Jackson Radio Show.
His problem is that the Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is threatening to take away a must-have from President Trump, and that is the border wall. So now the president has responded on Twitter. He writes this: crying Chuck Schumer fully understands, especially after his humiliating defeat, that if there is no wall, there is no DACA. We must have safety and security together with a strong military for our great people. Schumer has been putting a lot of pressure on Republicans here in the Senate, now threatening to make Mitch McConnell's life very difficult if he softens his commitment to advance a DACA fix before those people brought to the country illegally as kids face deportation. Schumer's preference is by February 8th.
We've gotten a commitment from Senator McConnell, trust but verify, but he made it not just to Democrats but to a good chunk of his own caucus. So that means a lot. And I think we have renewed momentum.
Republican senators that I've been talking to are happy to help DACA recipients figure out a way to stay, but they don't see a need to do it until March, which is, of course, a month after Schumer wants it done.
Well, time is a ticking, Peter. So how much optimism is there in the Senate that an immigration deal can be made?
It seems like people feel pretty good about it, and there is optimism about an immigration deal. But Senator John Thune is saying it is very important that they figure out a way to make sure that they have enough Democrats on board to actually pass something out of the Senate. And on the Republican side, their wish list is very straightforward.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Chuck Schumer trying to get all tough. Tough Chuck. Donald Trump calls him Crying Schumer. Crying Chuck, isn't he? Crying Chuck. I love that. Great nickname. Crying Chuck. So Schumer, I'm starting to cough. What's up with this? It's not even a smell. It's making me cough here. Anyway, Schumer, it's funny to me that he believes himself to be in the driver's seat. You know, he's the one that can control all of this. I mean, what a phony. Look, I would say to Democrats, there's no way to win here. I don't even want to stay on this subject very long except to tell you that there's no way they win this battle. They might as well move along. Trump set all kinds of traps, and they fell into every single one. They are mortally wounded on DACA. Even this latest round of let's do 1.5 million, 1.8 million people, and the Democrats back away from that, and you're like, you're going to do 1.8 million, which you only had talked about 800,000, and they reject it. Now Donald Trump can say, they rejected a good offer. I gave them even more than what they wanted. I wanted to prove to you, America, that they don't care. See, we've already discussed this before. We talked to you. I wrote a piece about it and told you that it was a ploy. The Democrats don't care about the number of the 800,000 dreamers. What they care about are the votes of the chain migration that would continue. And that's what they need. They need chain migration. What Donald Trump has done is he is sending illegals home. They're going home. But by the way, while we were talking about all this stuff right now, there were raids going on in Texas and Oklahoma of illegals. And the Democrats know there's nothing they can do about it. And I'm going to tell you, when we really start cracking down on these sanctuary city governors and mayors, the ones who ditched out on the meeting with the president, because they said, well, if he's going to implement things that make our lives miserable, make us have to live up to our constitutional rights, well then, we're not going to go to his meeting. And I scoff at this. I want you to take note. I want everybody listening to the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. I want you to take note of what I say to you right now. You're going to watch over the next few months, mayor after mayor decide I need to meet with President Trump. Now, I wanted to say something else. I wanted to tell you guys there's an issue there that we have to remain aware of. This redistricting, and they're suing I believe it's Hawaii. No, not Hawaii. Somewhere the Republicans took over. They're suing because Republicans began redistricting. Redistricting doesn't sound like much. It's very innocuous. It's like, oh, who cares? You know, to the winner goes the spoils. So the Republicans said, okay, to the winner goes the spoils. Let's redistrict. Now, these redistricting committees are non-governmental people. The governor of a place will set up a civilian, supposedly bipartisan group who'll set up and do redistricting. But it's not bipartisan. It's as bipartisan as Durbin and Lindsey Graham getting together to give a DACA bill to the president. And I would ask you, do you think Lindsey Graham is bipartisan? Is he really representing the interest of the Republicans? And the answer is no. But they'll find these stooges and put them on these committees. Now, these are citizens that are unelected who then decide how to redistrict. And every group that comes to power redistricts based on what's good for that group. And you know what they do? They carve in and out of the black community, mostly in the Latino community, the minority communities, as best they can. They know exactly where they get, for example, the biggest number of Republican votes. So what they'll do if the Democrats are in charge is they'll say, we're going to redistrict, and hopefully we can bring in a big swath of Democrats in that area. They will even go, Democrats have this to such a science that they will move illegals or whomever, whatever special interest group they can, into that area so that they can mitigate, lessen the Republican vote. And they do it little by little over a series of elections until they make a powerfully red area, at the very least purple, and in most cases blue. Now, they did this in Colorado. And the Colorado model, even though it was only temporary, it showed that if you wanted to influence an election cycle, you can. And that's what happened in Wisconsin. That's what happened in Virginia, because they take lots of money, they get lots of people and operatives on the streets, and they change the demographic for a while. The problem is it doesn't last, because leftism, it sucks, so it doesn't last. But they are now trying to make the model to where it will last. It'll last more than you can even imagine. So here's what I want you to understand. In the time that the Republican Party won 950 plus state legislature seats, they won 19 governorships, they won 38 congressional seats and 9 Senate seats. Roughly, those are the right numbers. They only control 46.2% of the voting population. So after triage against the Democrats, at the hands of Barack Obama, the Republicans, you would think with all of our wins that we would be in control of 57, 58% of the legislature, the voting block within these different areas. We're not. Why? Because of redistricting. Democrats, when they were in power, redistricted in such a way that it is almost impossible for Republicans to take over states. Now, we did win governorships and things like that, but I'm telling you, we don't control the legislature. We don't control the voting block the way we should. Think about it this way. Look at the maps of these cities in the counties, and it's practically red. But in those small areas of blue, always around big cities, that's what's dictating politics. Those blue areas are what dictate politics. They're really not blue. They've been made blue. And what the cities have figured out, what the Democrats have figured out, is if they concentrate on those cities and do these types of shenanigans, and that's how they can make this work. And that's why the mayors ignore Trump. That's why your fight inside of your big city, your fight against that university that is there to be a cancer to conservatism. You see it as, whoa, we've got lots of universities around, and now, and you feel like it's part of culture. It's not part of culture. It's there for a reason. It's there to be a poison pill for against conservatism. It's a thought trap, an indoctrination center, and there are many others. Churches used to be these bastions of truth. They're no longer that. They are indoctrination centers, particularly the black churches. Indoctrination. So we've got to learn this quickly and then get control of this redistricting. And this redistricting thing that got shot down by some state Supreme Court where Republicans were redistricting must be fought. But more importantly, it should not be citizens who are doing this. It should be elected officials who do this. That when I talked about the deep state earlier, the deep state is defined as the group of people who are unaccountable to the public but are making the decisions on our behalf. It is absolutely necessary that while we have Donald Trump in office, we eliminate these deep state operatives.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.